doing?
Okay. I thought it was one of my granddaughters. Can you just sign it for me? I'm not sure who's going to yet.
How you doing, Jack?
Go. How many you got?
A bunch.
A bunch.
Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, oh, that'd be great.
They'll love that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Could you say hi to all of our family back at home in Indiana?
Yeah.
I do a video for everybody, our family.
Where are you from?
We're from here. We live here.
Oh, Indiana?
They live in Indiana.
But they live in Indiana.
Hi, everybody. It's Jungle Jack Hanna. I'm in Tampa, Florida, Busch Gardens with your family.
Grandma and Grandpa?
Grandma and Grandpa, that's what it is. But there's so many of you that I'm sitting here trying to sign probably all the pictures I got today. That's okay, because I've now signed 8. He said he had 80 people in the family. 80.
80.
I only got 65 pictures. That's okay. Don't worry about me and all the other people here. But anyway, come over in Indiana, come and see the Columbus Zoo right next door to you. That's where I'm at. And also, when you're in Florida, Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, I'm also here too. Actually, I'm about everywhere because I don't know where I am.
Yeah, okay.
Nice to see you.
Oh, look at the baby. Look at the baby.
Betty White. Karen and John. Yeah.
Oh, look at the baby.
Show, but sorry I can't spend much time because we have 3 shows today and I like to get everybody this a picture. It does make really good bird paper if you have birds at home. The best thing my grandkids do, they use a dartboard. So I don't suggest that. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun. Are you having fun at Busch Gardens today? Are you really having fun at Busch Gardens? I tell you, I've always had fun at this park, everybody. This is coming here to speak, everyone. I don't know, even 25 or so years now, every single year. I love doing this. I really do. And of course, you've heard I've been coming here since 1968. A lot of you have been here before. I've heard my story, but I tell it every time I come to the Busch Gardens Park. I just left Busch Gardens, Williamsburg last weekend. And I bet in the 1, 2, 3, 4, we did almost 6 shows a day. I bet we reached hopefully about, that would be about 10, 12, almost 15, 16,000 people. Got to see the shows, and they all love the parks. And like I do, as I said before, in 1968, I spent my life in the Busch Gardens. Yes, that's, I know, maybe not a big deal to you, but to me, loving animals, then my wife knew what she had herself into. And she never has gotten out 47 years later. 47 years old. I've never said that word in my speech. I swear I have not ever said the word. I said 68, never 47. Actually, I can't change it. I'm trying to think if I made the wrong day, but I didn't. Why do I know I didn't make the wrong day? Because my first daughter was born 9 months and 6 days later. So obviously, I can't lie about when I was here. But you guys know me really as a fun person, by the way. If you happen to be watching the last Letterman show I'll be doing, I've been asked already today 3 or 4 times in April, the 29th. Now, you can imagine, 30 years, over 100 shows. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't watch that show if he paid me all the money in China. However, he told me several years ago, he said, Jack, you're definitely a walking encyclopedia of misinformation. Thank you, Dave, I appreciate it. You will see, I haven't figured out what I'm going to do to him yet, but he will pay for all those 30 years somehow on that show. I have nothing to lose, by the way, for doing that. But again, a lot of you know me as a fun person. You watch our shows, and 99% of the time I am a fun person. I really am. But I will not mention the name of a documentary because you guys live next to SeaWorld, but I can tell you now, because you know something? Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, all of us are one entity, okay? All of us. The Columbus Zoo included 221 zoos in our country. I want you to understand this, everyone. Just today, signing autographs up here, I had several people, it's amazing. They told me today, which I've tried to tell people, is that, Jack, what these parks do where you come to, they teach us about animals. Quote, I'm not just making this up. I usually say it myself. You've taught us so much, and so has SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. That just answers your question. What do we all hear about? Yes, conservation is important. You see it on the back of the picture. But without education, everyone, without education, there is no conservation. I know we have young kids that might not understand this next 2 or 3 minutes, but I have to do this in every park I go to now. I have over 70 speeches this year throughout this country, and almost every one of them, I talk about the Columbus Zoo, SeaWorld, and Busch Gardens. Because you know something? If something were to happen to, let's say those 3, even though we have 221 zoos, if something happens to us, these animals throughout this country, a lot of them ain't gonna have a chance. What does SeaWorld do with the manatee? You guys know it, right? The rehabbing they do? If it hadn't been for SeaWorld, history will show you. History will show When you only have a few thousand left in the world, that's not good. You saw what happened to red tide over here 6 years ago. Over 700 were lost in a few weeks. What happened with the cold weather? What was it, last year, 600 or something? You can't take an animal species like that and lose 600 or 700. So what do you do at SeaWorld? All the SeaWorld parks that have rehabbing for the manatee. I came here about 15 years ago, maybe more like 18. And I was filming there, I saw all the manatees back there, overloaded. They had no room. I go back to Columbus, Ohio. Went to my board meeting, I said, I need $12 million. What do you need $12 million for, Jack? We're going to build a manatee rehab. They said, you're nuts. I'm building it. And I went out and raised the money to build it. And guess what? Those manatees now have come to Columbus. For the last 18 years, we rehabbed over 25 or 30, and 80% of them have survived. So that's not because of from the zoo. Again, that's not because of from the zoo. It's because of SeaWorld. That's how it all started. I just left San Diego several weeks ago. How many of you heard in the papers, national news, about all the sea lions washing up on the shore?
Yeah.
Hundreds, I hear that, yeah, hundreds of them. I was there when it was happening. I didn't know it happened. You know, they close the sea lion exhibits in these parks, the SeaWorld parks, to all go out there and help. They worked, one guy been up for almost 3 days without any sleep. They were coming in by the dozens every single few hours, up 24/7. Then they have now released most of them back out in the wild. Guess how many survived? Again, over 80%. They'd all be dead now. I can go on and on, everybody. I can sit here and talk with you for 2 hours about these parks, or tell you 2 hours about when that thing was shown on TV. I don't even mention the name of it. Remember something, Dawn was a very good friend of mine. I had to do her funeral at SeaWorld. Her mother comes to every one of my speeches at SeaWorld. She comes to parks all the time. Does that tell you something? In life, everybody, life is something we all know it. I know several times in my career of doing things, yes, I've come close, no doubt about that. But the one thing we do is we film with respect. We film with respect for the animal world as well as the people world. That's what these parks do as well. And guess who started me in the TV business as far as the TV series, not the television shows I do, but the series I have. Busch Gardens believed in me over 20-something years ago. They were my first sponsor of Jack Hanna's Animal Adventures for over 14 years. And that was something to bring into the animal world. I'll now go back to my animals. I do this every speech, everybody, because it makes me feel better. And again, let's have a round of applause for these parks that do practice what they preach. This is our national bird, everybody. I'm a veteran, all right? How many of you guys are veterans and whatever? Look at this. These guys will tell you what the bald eagle means to this country. This is what our country's about, everybody. You know something? I see people taking pictures. In Montana, where I live part-time, we have a bald eagle's nest. Can you imagine how blessed we are? A bald eagle's nest on our property. It's like, this is something for my family that's beyond comprehension, how we have this. I watch that bald eagle and get just excited every single day as I do if I see a grizzly, or a mountain lion, or a coot, whatever, all the coyote, elk, moose. This is the epitome of what I see in the wild, the American bald eagle. Look how regal it is. Maybe you don't know this. When the bald eagle hatches, everybody, it's about the size of your fist, a little ball of feathers, all right? In less than probably 12 weeks, that bird is that big. One of the fastest growing birds in the world. That white head and tail, you know, the white head and tail does not come about until about 3 or 4 years old. What happens to the bald eagle's in, and people aren't out to shoot the bald eagle, by the way, but sometimes they might think if they see something with no white head or tail coming down, swooping up a chicken or so, whatever it might do, you know, they're going to take it out, not knowing that's our national bird. Obviously, that's a federal offense. The bird also is one that is monogamous, it mates for life. They will come back usually every year to the same nest. There's a bald eagle nest, you should see it up there in Maitland, Florida. I don't know if it's still there. I got started, by the way, at the Stanford Zoo in 1973 with 4 employees. That's where I started my first zoo career as a zoo director. Up there in Maitland, I think it's Maitland, they have a bald eagle nest that's the size of a Volkswagen. Over the years, that's incredible to see it. You ought to go up there and see it if you ever live in this area. They have a bird sanctuary up there as well. Those talons on the bird, the feet there, I call them talons, the feet there. Now, if that was a wild bird, and by the way, an eagle would never do this to you. However, if that was a wild bird, it would come down on her arm, not this bird, a wild one, it would go through her skin, through her muscle, and pop her bone in 1 split second. I don't do it with my arms, they're not real small. Same thing with me. The bald eagle has 1,000 pounds of pressure per square inch on that talon right there. 1,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. The bird's eyesight is spectacular. One last thing. People think the bald eagle love, you see the movies, they love to swoop down and eat something that's alive. 80% of this animal, what he does, it's like a buzzard. They look for, at least in Montana, they look for something like down in the fields, deer hit on the road, or cattle that have gone down, whatever. That's what the bald eagle. Now they will get something alive. It's very easy, no doubt about that. Even a fish, obviously. But they usually like to scavenge a lot. Not like a lot of other birds of prey only eat live things. So,
Look at there.
everyone, we won't clap for this one, right? The dog we found at the dog pound. I have no idea what he's doing. No. This is a cheetah, everybody. The cheetah one, by the way, this is how dumb I am. I didn't know we had a camera on this thing. And even though, is he been up there all day? That is beautiful photography. I was telling the audience, I didn't know I'd be pointing out some parts of these animals. Just sit here, we'll have another show after this is over. Anyway, this is the world's fastest land mammal, everyone. Clocks at 70 miles per hour. When you go home today and you're on Interstate 75 or whatever interstate you're on, only interstates, go 65 miles an hour, everyone. Go 65 miles an hour. This animal will pass you. Can you imagine that? But you know something? Unless you're like us that have seen that. For example, Busch Gardens had a cheetah run here. I don't know if they still have a cheetah run here. Yeah. Out here? Okay. Columbus Zoo has it. Out of 221 zoos, I bet there's not a dozen that have a cheetah, maybe 6 have a cheetah run. You don't want to miss it, everyone. You'll get to see a cheetah going probably 50, 60 miles an hour. When we film this in the wild, it takes 3 cameras. And guess what? We still don't get the animals hunt. We'll see him go like this. A cheetah, by the way, I'll explain to you in a second. He can go like this, and the cheetah can turn like this. Your car cannot do that. That tail, you see the tail of the cheetah, the tail? That tail is flat. It looks like a car ran over it. Now, it doesn't look like that to you because it's got the hair on it, right? It's totally flat. Why is that? That's a sail on a sailboat. When that animal goes like this, and Brian back here has some friends that go to CBS. You know, you see that, I don't play golf, you see the golf tournaments, how those balls go like this? Well, it's slow. They have some of the cameras that have the slow motion in the world. As a favor to us, when they had the Muirfield tournament in Ohio, they came and did a picture or a video of our cheetah going probably 50 miles an hour, and when they turn, their body leaves the ground. We never knew that. Their whole body leaves the ground like this, and goes like this in a split second, off the ground. Actually, the body and the tail are turning the animal in midair. It is incredible. The animal also, if you look at the eyes, of the animal, if you turn this way, we'll see him turn this way in a second. You kitty. There it is. Look at those eyes. What do you see there, everybody? You see the marks here, don't you? Because the cheetah's the only cat in the world that will hunt in the heat of the day. I say there might be one like a lion that just finds something there, but most cats hunt at nighttime. The cheetah has to hunt in the heat of the day. Why is that? Because they're a weak cat, everybody. If I were to go down in a plane in Africa, I'm the only one to walk away from the plane, right? And there's a cheetah right there where he is, or 3 of them, 4 of them, they're not going to touch me. If there's one lion there, you won't see another animal in the world, ever. That's the difference in the cats. So this cat has those, see those lights I'm trying to look at? I can't see, can I? What do football players, baseball players do? Didn't Mother Nature, isn't that amazing they invented that thousands of years ago? Because that's what the cheetah does. It hunts in direct sunlight. So it's 110 degrees outside, she loves to hunt. Now, let's say she sees an animal. She is one of the few cats in the world that will study their prey. There's a baby just being born. There's a sick zebra. They don't take down big animals. They find out what they want to hunt. They'll come back the next day. She'll take her cubs, which are about, 6-8 months old. She usually has 2 to 4. And she'll place her cubs here, here, and here. The cheetah mother will be over here. Animals eating grass in the daytime, whatever they might be, impala, gazelle, whatever, are out there eating. They go, oh, those are just baby cheetahs, don't worry about it. And she explodes. She hits her prey, and 60% of the time plus, 60% of the time, the animal gets away from her. At that point, the strength she has to use, she has to rest at least a day or 2. Once she rests, she will try it again. If she does not hit the animal then and make a kill, so to speak, she will die, or her cubs will die instantly. And then the rest of them will starve to death as well. So once she does make a hit, she has to grab here, everyone. She has to grab right there and stay there for 10 minutes. When you see a tiger kill, or tiger, I don't like that word, a tiger just take down an animal, like I have in Nepal and in India, it takes less, everybody, than 5 seconds. It's beyond a bomb going off. This animal can't do that. So let's say they do consume their animal, and all of a sudden she's getting ready to have her meal. What happens then? Buzzards and vultures in Africa will circle over immediately over a kill, all right? What happens then, that lions and hyenas who are sleeping, they go, hey, the cheetah's made a kill. Let's get up a minute and go over and eat. Then they go over there and take the food from the cheetah. Lions have been known to eat the cheetah. So the animal, just last June, this animal was listed as the most endangered cat on the continent of Africa. Again, what does Busch Gardens in Columbus do along with several other country? We breed the cheetah. This park here, we have breeding loans for this park. Without these parks, everyone, your grandkids will never see a cheetah. Right now, we're in the process of taking cheetahs back into the wild. You can see the camera there on the foot, if you can do that. I don't know if we can do it or not. Oh, perfect. This guy should be National Geographic. Wait a minute. Look at that. Look at that. You see the claws here? What do you see there? I said, outstanding. Very few people ever get to see this. That animal has non-retractable claws. The only cat in the world. Go to your house cat, everybody. Your house cat retracts his claws. Every cat in the world does except the cheetah. Does not retract his claws. That's for speed. The animal entirely is built for speed. This lady right here, as we all know, we all work in the Columbus Zoo, but she is head of the entire cheetah program for this country. Plus, she's one of the only ones, when people have problems with cats, many of all these guys right here, especially Susie, been with the zoo for 36 years. She's the one that raised them from birth that their mother won't take care of. She's the one that started cheetah. A lot of cheetah, when you go to Washington, D.C., we actually take the cat right to the Senate. We don't sit there and show a video. We just show them what we like to do in some of our parks today so this cat doesn't go down the tube, the world's fastest land mammal. So because of the Columbus Zoo and many of the zoo, Busch Gardens here itself, this cat, you will see this cat. Your grandkids will see this cat too. Without clapping, then we'll go ahead and take the animal off the dog. By the way, real quickly, I have never figured out the dog yet. Susie, can you help me? I forget. I'm older.
The reason we raised the dog with the cat, especially in Nisi's case, is because she's a single cub. She didn't have any siblings, and this is the only cat species that will not and cannot raise a single cub. They won't do it in the wild, and they won't do it in human care. It's probably because it takes 2 years to raise a cheetah cub. And for a cheetah to invest 2 years of her life when the cubs only have a 95 infant mortality rate, I mean, most of the cubs die, you don't want to invest that kind of time. And so that's why we believe that cheetahs don't raise their cubs. But in her case, we didn't want Nisi to be by herself, and we don't want any of our cheetahs. So we want to give them confidence, because a cheetah is so fearful, they would rather flee than fight. And so if we're going to go around and raise awareness for what's happening to cheetahs, which I believe Jack said is the most endangered big cat in Africa, we're looking at less than 10,000 of these species. They're in big trouble. And for us to raise awareness, we want them to be as confident as they possibly can. What animal is more confident than a Labrador Retriever? So we raise them together and they're best buddies, and it works really well.
Anyway, these are our beautiful baby clouded leopards. What you're seeing, everybody, now you may say to yourself, oh my gosh, they pulled them from the mother. Yes, some of them are taken from the mother. When you have an animal like this, everyone, it's on the endangered species list, you don't have time because a lot of cats, especially the cheetah, by the way, the last animal to show today will be a cheetah, all right? And I'm going to ask you guys, when you raise the cheetah out, I'm going to announce it first, when you raise the cheetah out, please be seated, all right? For the kids especially. Now, if you have to go to the bathroom when I bring the cheetah out, make sure you go at 75 miles an hour. Anyway, these are clouded leopards. Not many people have ever seen these in the world. I thought that I would film the clouded leopard in Malaysia, in that part of the world, correct? Borneo, Sumatra. Well, you know what? I must have brain damage. You could be there for, there's people who live there the entire 2 or 3 generations. They've never seen a clouded leopard. They're nocturnal. Their camouflage is incredible. They will come out in the daytime somewhat. But most of your cats at nighttime, by the way. The clouded leopard is a cat, when it's full grown, everybody, it's not a big cat. What would it weigh, Susie, full grown? 35 for females, 55 or so for the males. They're not a large cat at all. When you see the cat, when it's full grown, you're going to say, my gosh, what's wrong with his legs? It looks like he's deformed. This cat's legs are only this long. All right? It looks like, you know what a dachshund looks like? A dachshund, it's kind of what it looks like. What's wrong with that cat? This cat is the only one in the world that spends 90% of his life in trees. 90% of his life is in trees. And back to the cheetah again. The cheetah, everyone, the cheetah, 90% of the time on her first birth, will consume her cubs instantly. The mountain lion, the male mountain lion is next to a female mountain lion, they're gone in 1 split second. So a lot of cats are that way. Sometimes on the other bursts it's fine. But this cat here, everyone, has one of the greatest leaping abilities of any cat in the world. This is the snow leopard. They are nocturnal, they are, and those small legs as well. That coat, I'm sorry to say, which is no longer done because things change in the world. Some people know that animals are used for coats. Some people say those people all should be killed. Today, they should have a problem. But remember, go back to when our pioneers came across our country. But you can go back there too. If you had a bison, if you had something like that you were consuming, you're going to use a coat. That's what was done back then. But things have changed today, obviously. So that's not the problem with the cat today. Back then, they were taking the coats. This animal came that close to being extinct in the wild. Today, they're doing fairly well. They're still endangered. But one thing they have going for them is they're difficult to even find.
Albino kangaroo.
It's a little gray kangaroo. I'm going to tell you, everyone, there's a lot of amazing birds in nature I've seen. My kids are amazing birds, but they're a mammal. But there are a lot of amazing birds. This is one of them, everyone. The kangaroo, everyone, can have 3 babies at one time. I don't do triplets. The kangaroo can have that baby in the pouch at 6 to 8 months. Okay? Then when the baby's born, the same, leave in the pouch. Then the little baby kangaroo, just look at your fingernail, everyone. Kids, look at your fingernail. Kids, you eat jelly beans, don't you? And the nearest thing I can tell you about baby kangaroo being coming out of the birth canal, adults, is a jelly bean. Can you imagine something like that, coming out of the birth canal, knowing to go on the outside of the stomach, crawl into the pouch? This doesn't have I say doesn't have a brain, obviously Mother Nature knows. How does this little thing know to go in the pouch? It does. But the sad thing is, I bet you, who knows, 89% fall off, and she's hopping around, things come out of the pouch, bam, it's on the ground. Then let's say, what she can do the same day, she can have one hopping out of the pouch, 6 to 8 months, have the baby being born, and then also breed the same day. 3 different stages of life. By the way, it's a delayed implantation, so you don't know how long, until this little baby comes out. In the wild, it's a sad thing. Let's say she has one in here that's 3 months, all right? All of a sudden, this other one, she's bred this thing, another one comes out. She'll take her little paw that they have and push it like this and throw it on the ground. It doesn't last 3 seconds. In the zoo world, if it happens, and the animal is formed like a kangaroo, about this big, you get no hair, nothing, you can see the placement of the eyes, then we can save it. And those guys will tell you, it's one of the hardest animals we have to hand raise. It's every 2 hours, you don't miss it 2 hours. Every 2 hours for almost a month. You have to get up and put it's almost like as thin as a hair, down all the way to stroke the feeding. And that's how we save several of these things. They're a beautiful animal, everyone, and they can go about 40 miles an hour, hop 30 feet at a time. And what do you call a big group of kangaroos? A mob of kangaroos. One thing she's going to show you, right here, you see the hand foot? Maybe she'll walk around. A lot of you can't see this, but on this one too, there's a claw there. You see that claw? There's a claw. There's a claw on that back leg. What does that claw do? If a dingo or a dog were to come up and attack him, which they do, by the way, in Australia, if they were to do that, and they'll usually 99% of the time outrun anything, okay? But let's say they corner a kangaroo. By the way, the kangaroos, the big red kangaroos, when they stand up, you see how I'm 6 foot tall. The animal's looking me in the face. He goes way up like this when he stands up. And then he's got those 2 back legs. The kangaroo can go like this with his leg, kick out, quicker than you can blink your eye, and that thing becomes a weapon. On the large ones, those things get together that big, those claws, right? That whatever he's kicking is gone. That only happened about 4 years ago to a gentleman. They were having a little time in a bar, came home about 12 at night, tried to corner a wild kangaroo. They did, but this is the first time in history this ever happened. Cornered the kangaroo, the guy's not here anymore. It was over with this split second. I wish you could see everyone the colors of it I'm seeing right now. And by the way, this isn't the most colorful of the toucan species. There's pretty many types of this bird. This bird's beak, you see that big old beak? Some people say, oh my gosh, how does he carry that around? When I was filming this animal, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, when I was in Costa Rica, I can tell you this. A beak was laying on the ground. Some animal had consumed this bird. That beak, everybody, you can put on the palm of your hand. You put that on the palm of your hand and go like this. Very going. It's lighter than a feather. It's amazing. What's his problem? He wants it very here. You see? Is that a grape? Oh, here. You won't believe what I did last week. Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. This is amazing. Here, look here, Rochester. What's his name, Rochester? I just made that up. Okay, here. Last week, I always have fun. They usually have 2 grapes. This little 8-year-old boy is sitting down there. The bird caught 2. Says, hey young man, open your mouth. This is how far away I was. No, it never works, ever. In 10 years. Open your mouth. You go like this. I threw it, and the poor grape had been in a greasy pocket. So no doubt I'll be paying for somebody's medical bill too. I go like this, and that kid right in his mouth. He was so proud. Then he started eating. I said, spit it out. He goes like this. Amazing creature. I know you think, oh, it's just a boy. What is that? That's pretty good. I did a speech in Tennessee, they said it was a pig. That's Tennessee. That's Tennessee. You know, I did not marry my cousin, by the way, so I know you're in Tennessee, right? This is an aardvark. I cannot spell aardvark, but I think aardvark is, yes, thank you. First word in the dictionary, but I keep having a hard time spelling aardvark. I've only seen this animal one time, and I don't know how many hundred trips after. One time. That was like 1 in the morning. These animals don't come out until nighttime. That animal there is another animal. If you look at his feet, that animal, I mean, what's his defense, by the way? Other than his beautiful looks. He has big ears, doesn't he? This animal can hear anything. I mean, underground, above ground, I don't care where it lives. They're mainly nocturnal. You see those claws on those feet there? You don't want to get them resting back to this thing. They can dig a hole, I swear. I've seen video of it. They get that thing that big, he can dig himself in a hole in less than 2 minutes. And this is not real soft ground either. Is it, what's it weigh? And what's his name? I'm sorry. Names come up. Adazi. So
Is probably a little older than I am. He came in 1979 here as an adult. And the zoo that he came from, back then they didn't keep such close records. Now, every single animal gets basically like a social security number, and we know like who the parents are, and we know everything about every animal.
Hi, Edgar. Yeah, you're a little baby, ain't you?
He's actually all grown up. That's as big as they get. Now,
Look how cute
screech
you are.
owls are such fantastic neighbors. If you want to have these guys around because they're excellent pest control. They love to eat cockroaches. That's their favorite food here in Florida, are those big palmetto bugs. And chances are, if you live in Florida, you probably already have a screech owl living in your area.